Hey folks, in today's Conundrum we will cover the case of Alexander Nikolaevich Spesivtsev, also known as the Novokuznetsk Monster and the Siberian Ripper, a Russian serial killer. Born on March 1, 1970, he was convicted for the brutal murders of 4 individuals in Novokuznetsk in 1996. Together with his mother Lyudmila, Spesivtsev preyed on street children and young women throughout Novokuznetsk. Their victims were lured into their apartment, where they faced unspeakable torture, murder, and even acts of cannibalism. While officially found guilty of only 4 homicides, Spesivtsev confessed to a total of 19 murders, with evidence suggesting he may have committed over 80 killings as early as 1991. Alexander Nikolaevich Spesivtsev had a troubled early life. Born on March 1, 1970, in Novokuznetsk, he grew up in a cramped apartment on Pionersky Prospect. As a newborn, he was frail and frequently fell ill, but he managed to survive. However, his childhood was marked by social isolation and bullying at school. Spesivtsev had no friends and struggled to fit in. His mother, Lyudmila Spesivtseva, played a significant role in his life. She worked at a nearby school and the prosecutor's office, and despite their unusual bond, she was affectionate toward her son. At a young age, Lyudmila introduced Alexander to disturbing images of corpses from books about criminal cases. They even shared a bed until he turned 12, creating a close but unsettling relationship. As Spesivtsev grew older, his sadistic tendencies became more pronounced. In 1988, at the age of 18, he met his first girlfriend, initially presenting himself as poetic and charming. However, their relationship quickly deteriorated, and they frequently argued. When she finally decided to break up with him, Spesivtsev couldn't accept it. He resorted to kidnapping her and held her captive in his apartment, subjecting her to unimaginable torture for an entire month. Tragically, she succumbed to sepsis and passed away. As a result of his heinous actions, Spesivtsev was deemed mentally unstable and was sent to the Oriol Special Psychiatric Hospital at the age of 18. It was there that his dark and twisted journey into infamy began. After being discharged from the Oriol Special Psychiatric Hospital in 1991, Alexander Nikolaevich Spesivtsev delved deeper into the darkness that consumed him. He sought out the company of transients and beggars, forming connections with those on the fringes of society. However, his interactions with these marginalized individuals only fueled his growing hatred for street children, whom he saw as a product of Russia's evolving democracy. Spesivtsev's resentment intensified due to a distressing incident during his time at the psychiatric hospital. Seeking a misguided path to virility, he asked a fellow patient to insert a metal ball into his urethra. The ill-fated experiment backfired, causing erectile dysfunction and excruciating genital pain. This experience left him even more embittered. Motivated by his deep-seated animosity towards street children, Alexander, along with his mother Lyudmila, began luring victims into their apartment. Randomly selected, these unsuspecting victims, often unaccompanied street children who frequented discotheques or played in construction sites, became the targets of their sadistic desires. Inside the confines of their apartment, Spesivtsev would subject them to unspeakable torture, ultimately ending their lives. The depravity didn't stop there. In some cases, the bodies of their victims were cannibalized, adding an unimaginable level of horror to their crimes. To dispose of any unwanted remains, Lyudmila would discreetly empty buckets containing human remains into the Aba River under the cover of darkness. The impoverished city of Novokuznetsk, still reeling from the aftermath of the Soviet Union's collapse, provided a grim backdrop for their malevolent acts. Spesivtsev's reign of terror and his mother's complicity plunged the community into a state of fear and despair as they hunted their innocent prey. If you like this video so far and you like this type of content, please share your thoughts down below. Subscribe to my channel and ring the notifications bell so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. Every 2 days, new video will be releasing, and I am so happy to have you in here. The quiet city of Novokuznetsk was abruptly shaken by a grim discovery along the river Aba. The banks became hauntingly adorned with gangrenous severed heads, torsos, and arms of young children, their identities lost in the horror. At first, the authorities struggled to comprehend the sinister truth that lay before them. Initially, the notion of a serial killer seemed far-fetched. However, as large groups of unattended children continued to vanish without a trace, suspicions turned towards the existence of a relentless mass murderer operating within the city's boundaries. Fear gripped the community as parents anxiously guarded their children, and an air of trepidation settled over the once peaceful streets. While the investigation unfolded, the Regional Directorate of Internal Affairs pursued alternative theories. The presence of criminal gangs from the Caucasus region in Novokuznetsk at that time led investigators to consider the possibility of organ smuggling. Vigilantly, the police meticulously inspected the baggage of outgoing flights, hoping to uncover any potential leads or evidence. The urgency to apprehend the perpetrator escalated, prompting the deployment of several hundred internal troops and police officers. Every corner of the city was combed in a desperate search for the killer, whose identity at one point was believed to be Oleg Rilkov. The weight of the investigation bore heavy on the shoulders of law enforcement as they grappled with the darkness that had descended upon their community. As the search for answers intensified, the city held its breath, yearning for justice and relief from the nightmare that had cast its shadow over Novokuznetsk. Following the unsettling disappearances of several girls, witness statements provided a crucial breakthrough in the investigation. They revealed that the missing girls had been seen leaving a store with Spesivtsev's mother. It was a pivotal lead for the police, considering her son was officially recorded as undergoing psychiatric treatment at a hospital. However, an incident involving a resident refusing entry to the neighborhood police officer and a plumber raised suspicions about the son's whereabouts. The resident claimed to be mentally ill and confined within his apartment, causing alarm among the authorities. The police and the plumber, undeterred, forcibly entered the apartment. They were immediately met with a putrid stench, akin to the scent of decaying flesh. Inside the bathtub, they made a grisly discovery: a woman bleeding from a severe stab wound to the chest, and a torso devoid of limbs and head. Just as they uncovered the haunting evidence, Spesivtsev managed to escape, scaling the building's roof. However, his freedom was short-lived, as he was apprehended within the week, found cold and starving at the entrance of his house. 3 days prior to his arrest, his mother, Lyudmila, had also been taken into custody. In the wake of his capture, Spesivtsev's true nature became apparent. A diary detailing his heinous crimes was found, and he made no attempts to deny his actions. However, he only confessed to 19 murders, boasting about additional crimes that could not be substantiated. A search of his apartment yielded a macabre collection: 80 items of blood-stained clothing, nearly 40 pieces of jewelry, and photographs of unknown individuals who may have been his unproven victims. Forensic experts later confirmed that the garments belonged to the 19 identified victims. His sanity was deemed compromised by the court, leading to his commitment to a psychiatric hospital. It was revealed that Spesivtsev had previously spent 3 years in a mental institution following the torture and murder of his girlfriend. Tragically, the only living witness to his crimes, a 15-year-old girl named Olga Galtseva, succumbed to her injuries the day after being discovered. Presently, Spesivtsev resides at the Kamyshin Regional Hospital, confined within its walls. Meanwhile, his mother, charged with complicity in 3 murders, received a prison sentence of 13 years. The chilling saga of their crimes and the haunting aftermath serves as a grim reminder of the depths of human darkness that can infiltrate society. Imprisoned, Spesivtsev emerged as a poet and philosopher, condemning democracy as the destroyer of lives. In his own words, he declared, "How many people has our democracy destroyed? If people pondered, this filth would cease." But his vile acts can never find justification. Apartment 357, tainted by unspeakable horrors, remains locked and uninhabited. Maintenance workers, after fixing a window, sought solace in the church. A neighbor, asked to venture inside, never recovered. Today, hordes of pigeons occupy the apartment, whispers claiming they are tormented souls seeking peace. Thank you for joining me in the dark tale of Alexander Spesivtsev. We have been confronted with the depths of human darkness and the devastating consequences of his monstrous actions. As we grapple with the haunting legacy he left behind, may we remember the victims and strive to prevent such horrors from ever happening again. Cases involving children always haunt me the most, but it is crucial that the victims are not forgotten. Hopefully this helps. Thank you for joining me in this video. See you in the next one. Stay curious and stay safe.